So, you want to learn the A-10 Thunderbolt. The plane that has destroyed well over 1,000 tanks via the gun alone. The plane that shoots bullets the size of beer bottles. The plane that has a built-in titanium bathtub. The plane that has a bigger gun than a Volkswagen Beetle. The plane that packs enough ordnance to level a Karen's ego. But you want to use an Arma 3. Or more specifically, the Bad Company RHS Invade and Annex server. But, before we get started, we must understand Rule 3. Close air support on area of operations and side missions are only allowed with authorization from ground troops. Now what this means is you must have someone on the ground that gives you permission to use close air support. Now to gain authorization is pretty simple. You ask in side channel, or you can ask in your group channel via your microphone. So I'm going to be showing you how to use the A-10 in the editor, which is pretty self-explanatory to do, I think. Start the editor, select Pakistan, put the A-10 down, try and match this loadout here. I will show you a better picture of the loadout in the video if I remember to edit it in. But this is the identical loadout that you will have on the Bad Company server. You cannot change the loadout on the server because it's limited due to balancing reasons. So don't try and ask in chat, why can't I change the loadout? This game sucks. Please do something about the server. I want cluster bombs, I want this, I want that. Listen mate, you're not gonna get it. It's balanced for a reason. So, we must understand the loadout before we even get into the plane. So, to begin, this is the ECM jammer pod. This does not work on the A-10. I do not know why. I think you might have to maybe select it in the menu when you're doing the loadouts for it to work. But we're just going to ignore this because it does not work on the server, so there's that. These are the hydras inside this little rocket pod here. You get 7 on each wing. There's one over there. You can't see it from here, but you'll see it in a minute. Very good for infantry and clearing out any bunker spawns or radio towers, because radio towers always have infantry in the bottom of them. So if you ever get authorized, these are just as good, if not better, than your 30mm GBII. Next up is the laser guided Mavericks. These, like I just said, are laser guided. You must have a laze on the ground for these to guide to the laze. Now they are lock on after launch and lock on before launch. It doesn't matter which one you use, but in my experience I think lock on before launch is a little bit more reliable. Now these are GBUs. I think they're 1,000 pounders if I'm not mistaken. They're the GBU 32s. Very effective for killing anything you see fit. Just a little post-edit here. My dumbass forgot to mention that these are actually laser guided as well. So basically how it works, you see the laze on the ground, you put your bomb reticle over that laze, and then you drop the bomb on that laze, and it will guide itself to the laze and destroy the target that either troops or one of your buddies are lazing on the ground. Now these are the Mark 83s. They are unguided bombs, basically meaning you have full control over where these land via your reticle inside the cockpit. I will demonstrate this later in the video. Next up is obviously the hydropod, same as the other wing. This is 7 there, you got 7 over there. That's, yes, you guessed it, 14 in total. Now these are AIM-9Ms. They're pretty useful for dealing with any air transport or any Heinz Mi-28s, perhaps even the Su-25. And last but not least, we obviously have the elephant in the room, the GBII 30mm cannon on the front of this plane. Some say the plane was built around the cannon. So main threats. So we got the Tigris, obviously first. This thing's a menace. This is going to be your main adversary in the server. It's got a lock-on range of about 4.5, but the missiles can obviously go further if it locks onto you. Then we got the Shilka, locks on about 2.5. The bullets can go about 2.5 to 3 kilometers. Now we've obviously got the man pads. Now these things are menaces because you don't know where they are. These will get you when you least expect them. So if you think HQ's down, oh I'm safe, I can fly right in. no AA, nothing. These things will be lingering in a corner, waiting to get you, so just be careful. Always use your flares over the AO no matter what you do, and you'll be just fine. Alright, let's take a look at how to fly this thing. Now, we're going to go ahead and press shift, or if you're on a HOTAS, just throttle up a little bit, or you can scroll down and press engine on. Now this will start the engine, it will close the cockpit. You'll see in the bottom left it says engine starting. If you give it a couple seconds, I think it takes no longer than 5 to 10 seconds. There you go, engine ready. Then you're ready for taxi. Obviously, taxi. Simulate, we've just come at the hangar on Badco. Going to taxi down here, or the other end of the runway. Taxi to the runway, then you're going to take off from the runway. Now make sure you take off from the edge of the runway, not the middle of the runway, because you'll just hit the fence and die and everyone will laugh at you in chat. So we're set on the runway, we're going to put our flaps down into the takeoff position. You can't really see them from here, but they are behind this little jaggy texture here. So they're in takeoff position, as you can see in top left on our HUD. We're going to throttle up to 100. We're going to let the engines do their thing. I'm using vehicle free look at the moment. So takeoff speed is roughly about 180 to 200. I was a bit sharp on the pull up there, but you get the gist. We're going to press G to put our gear up.
Caution, gear up
in the action menu with the scroll wheel. And then space. And now we are in the air with the A-10. So first thing you want to do after takeoff is obviously climb. A lot of newbie players tend to think that they are a force to be reckoned with as soon as they are in the air, but this is just not the case, because Tigrises will eat you alive. Anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 meters is good enough. This will provide you with a better angle for your targets, and will also give you confidence in evading any threats if you should dive and need to grab speed. So as you can see on the screen, I am demonstrating the camera that is situated inside the Maverick's warhead. Now to gain access to this camera, you press Control, right mouse button, and then press N on your keyboard, and to stabilize the camera itself, you have to press Control T. Now theoretically, it shouldn't exist once all Mavericks are fired, but after all, this is an RHS model of the A-10, so things are going to be a bit awkward time to time when it comes to historical accuracy. The camera itself doesn't have a great field of view. I think you can do a 90-degree pan either way, and it's very limited in its zoom capabilities. In my honest opinion, you shouldn't need this camera at any time in your sortie. It's just there if you want to PID your targets. However, this is why we have troops on the ground. Alright, let's start getting into the meat of the A-10. Here's the Hydra rocket pods I'm going to demonstrate. Now, before we get into the Hydras, I want you to take a look at my HUD. I'm going to pause the video right here. You see that little crosshair? Yes, that is the CCIP marker, or I should say the continuously computed impact point. Now this is constantly computing an impact point based on your range to the target, and that is basically your aim reticle of where you need to aim your rockets. It's as simple as that. Now, notice how I always climb after an engagement, then divert off of the target to either the right or the left, and just basically going in nose cold. So, same idea as the rocket pods. The GBII or the 30mm cannon also has a CCIP marker. I'm going to pause the video right here. Now, this is very difficult to see against the desert floor, but there's a little dot on in the middle of the circle there. That is your CCIP marker for where the gun or the bullets are going to land when you're firing your gun. Now below the circle you'll also see the distance marker, which is it's just telling you how far away from the target you're aiming. So the closer you get, the lower that number is going to go, obviously. Now you'll see here, I'm shooting an empty Tigris. Obviously if it was alive, I'd probably be dead right now. But I'm just demonstrating how easy this gun can deal with any armor that it faces in the battlefield. So, last but not least of our unguided weaponry, we got the Mark 82 bombs. Now, these things are a menace if you are good at aiming them. Personally, I recommend a 45° to a 75° dive onto the target for best results. I think dive bombing is a little bit more reliable than flying straight, and you'll probably not see the marker if you're flying straight. You'll see in a second. I'm about to bomb a BTR. The bomb actually doesn't hit the BTR directly. It lands next to it, but it still makes quick work of that BTR. I've dropped the bomb using that CCIP marker. Go to lean over to the right, look for the BDA, Battle Damage Assessment, and you can see there's a plume of smoke once the bomb debris settles down. There's a plume of smoke. That BTR is destroyed. So as you can see here, for the laser guided Mavericks, I've got someone on the ground lasing a Tigris for me. This Tigris is alive, it is a simulated target, and you can see the laser there. Right, lasers on target. So, in the A-10, I'm going to find that laser. There it is there. I'm going to pause the video right here. Now what we're looking at here is the laser on the ground. Lasers are diamonds with 4 external lines coming out of the diamond. We're going to fire the Maverick. Maverick's tracking. We're going to come to the right, spam our flares just in case that Tigris got a lock on us. Lean over to the left, going to look down, then boom, Tigris is down. Now in my experience and opinion, I think the Mavericks are best for dealing with Tigrises. A lot more faster than a bomb. If it hits a target, even if it's a miss, you can easily reposition yourself and fire one again. It's a lot quicker and a lot more easier to just deal with the target quickly rather than trying to get a bomb onto the target. So the GBII-12s, these are the big ass bombs underneath the cockpit. Same idea as the Mark 82s, except these can glide a lot further. All you have to do is point your CCIP marker onto the lays and then drop away. Turn your aircraft away from target and wait for the damage. Now you don't have to be 100% accurate with your dot on that lays marker, it's just a guidance for you. But it's always a good habit to get into, just dropping on that lays marker. I've dropped the bomb. I'm going to show you the perspective on the ground of what this bomb fucking does. Fucking destroyed. That BTR, gone. Doesn't exist. Dust. Thanos. Alright, now the AIM-9M. On the Warhawk, this AIM-9 can be a bit finicky. Sometimes they want to lock, sometimes they don't. This clip here will demonstrate that exact thing. To lock onto the target, you're going to point your nose at the target. Make sure your circle is near the target. It doesn't have to be on it, but near it. And then we're going to press T on the keyboard. Or your lock on target binding, wherever you have that set to. It should be T by default. I find being around the same altitude as your target that you're trying to lock on helps. I think these are mainly for maybe 2 kilometers to 3 kilometers lock on radius. Anything from about out there, you're probably going to struggle a little bit. As you can see, I managed to get a lock. Once that diamond appears, boom. Now, I'm going to use the 30mm to kill this one. As you can see, shreds it. And that MIA is destroyed as well. GG boys, GG. Alright, let's move on to the landings. Now, touchdown speed for when you hit the runway, you want to be around 185 to 205 kilometers an hour. Anything below 180, I feel like you're going to stall the aircraft and it'll slam to the ground and might result in some damage. Maybe you crash into a fence, you never know. And of course, if you're too fast, you won't be able to brake in time at the end of the runway and you'll just run through the fence and everyone will laugh at you in side chat, so nobody wants to be that guy. Please don't do that. Alright, just gonna glide in nice and easy here. Gonna go in third person to get a better perspective on what's going on. You can see me using my air brake to try and slow it down. I'm gonna keep throttle a little bit high so I don't stall. And there we go, touchdown. Now the aircraft can veer to the right or left, but you just have to be ready to control that. That's us on the ground, ready to rearm and get back in here. Alright lads, that's pretty much everything. I think I've covered most of it, touch wood. If I've missed anything, I'll probably not notice until I upload the video. That's just how it works, because I'm a fucking idiot sometimes. Or someone in the Discord will tell me that I've missed this and that. But you know what? Write it in the comments so everyone else can see. But yeah, that'll do. If you have any questions, ask in the Discord or ask in the comments. I'll be ready to reply. Good luck, boys.